Hi, everyone, and welcome to TWF Rampage, or Ram Through. I am Jim Ross, here with Tony Schiavone and with Taz. And today on Rampage, or Ram Through, we're going to see Holy Fellow Nicholas here, Jim Ross says. Santa Claus, you know, the heavenly gift giver, Father Yule, Jim Ross says. You're right about that, Jim Ross. We're going to see Holy Fellow Nicholas, Father Yule, the heavenly gift giver, whatever name you know him by. Tony Schiavone says he's going to be here. Oh yeah, Taz says. Big deal. I mean, he shows up like between 11th month and 12th month, Taz said, and I never liked him. You know, I had runs in with him. 2 times in WWE. One time in WWF, I had a run in with this man. Then I had a run in with him again, on another time on Sunday Night Heat, another time on SmackDown. It ain't funny. I did have runs in with him. So you're not a lover or follower of Santa Claus, then, Jim Ross says. I would guess he is not, Tony Schiavone said. No, I'm not, Taz said. I already had my dealings with him and WWF, WWE, TNA, WIW, and my dealings with him in AEW. Well, here he comes. Ho, ho, ho. Happy Yule. Now I know this isn't a really good offshoot of me. There are 2 other good offshoots of me, but they are truly so big that they would fit up the whole ring. So the way I look at it is that I come here today because I have to know who is good and who is bad. And I know Yule isn't until next month, and I know a lot of folks will say, TWF, why you keep showing Jesus and Santa around? Anyway, so I give out the gifts the same way that God gave Jesus to us as a gift. The same way those wise kings gave gifts to Jesus when he was born. And the true meaning of Yule is the birth of Jesus. And I'm keep the happiness and the glee of Jesus' birthday around by doing that. And so that's why I do what I do. It's Bray Wyatt. Well, Santa Claus, you know that I have always hoped to be good. But sometimes you can't be good. But God and Jesus gave us love, they gave us forgiveness, they gave us forever life, gave us a stead in heaven. Since God so loved the world, he gave us his only Son, Jesus, who died on the round. Through his blood, through his death, God and Jesus cleaned our sins away, gave us an afterlife and our stead in heaven. You are right about that, Bray Wyatt. And you have struggled all those years to be a good man. But no man or woman is flawless. They are good, but they are never flawless. But I am glad to hear that you have taken Jesus as your Lord and as your freer and also as your healer. Yes, I have. And I want to tell you something too, Santa. If you're looking for a man to take over for you, to be the new Holy Fellow Nicholas, then by all means you can choose me. Oh, isn't this sad? What is this, TWF? Or some after learn outstanding following? Here you are, Bray Wyatt, talking about how you took Jesus as your Lord and freer. And you want to be friends with Santa Claus, Holy Fellow Nicholas, Father Yule, the man who took you away from Jesus, the man that's from whatever unknown some other sake, ground or why, can show up for between 11 month and 12 month, and everyone is happy with that. But the Christendom folk have to put up with this fucker here because we can't have Jesus around, because the other worships out there will get angry and feel they're not getting the onlook. So we gotta put up with this fat fuck over here who all he does is give you a holiday when Jesus gives you kinship. But I'm gonna tell you something right now, Bray Wyatt. You don't want to be Holy Fellow Nicholas. Let me tell you something, a little sogging tale. I can't speak for Christopher Kringle or Seth Applegate, but I can speak for Joseph Caradas, who didn't really want to be Santa Claus, but took it on when he learned. And if you think of Christopher Kringle and Seth Applegate and Joseph Caradas were fine, well, let's look at Scott Calvin. Yeah, I know you, Scott. You didn't want to be Santa Claus. Unlike Christopher Kringle and Seth Applegate and Joseph Caradas, that truly wanted to be Santa Claus, when they learned of the good they can do as Santa Claus, you said no, you lied, played it off. Let me tell you something. In the beginning, my heart wasn't into it in the beginning. When God and Jesus chose me to be the new Santa Claus, or Holy Fellow Nicholas, or Father Yule, yeah, at first I thought it was a dream. Yeah, at first I didn't want to do anything to do with it. But it was my son, Jamie. God and Jesus working through my son, Jamie, let me show the kindness and happiness and glee that I could give to others. And by being Holy Fellow Nicholas, I could keep the happiness and glee of Jesus' birthday alive by making happiness for others. So at the end of the day, I chose to be Holy Fellow Nicholas after that. Just like Christopher Kringle, just like Seth Applegate, just like Joseph Caradas. And whoever the lucky man is that I choose to take over for me, he might not like it at first, but over time, he's going to learn it's one of the greatest gifts that God and Jesus can give you. So I'm not going to have you, Avro, shame me for stuff, because I've been Holy Fellow Nicholas since between 95 YL, and I loved every time of it. You know what? Avro Robotnik or Avro Eggman or whatever your name is, you're not a healer of any kind. You're not a healer of any kind. You think you're so greater than everyone else because God made you highly wise and you can make tools and everything. But you do evil with those tools. Instead of making tools to help folks, you make tools to harm folks, to slay folks. And you should be locked up for your sins against beings because you worship beings in the tools. And you got the gall to say that Sonic and Tails and Knuckles are the evil ones. You are. You want to scathe me, Bray Wyatt? I can scathe you, Bray Wyatt, for everything you did in WWE from 2010 YL to 2021 YL. Starting from 2022 YL to now, I can scathe you for a lot of shit. Hey. If we're going to have a fight, then by all means we need to get a fight lord in the ring to do it. Well, it seems we're going to get Avro Eggman. Jim Ross says fighting Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt going after Avro Eggman. and Bray Wyatt's first match in a long time here in the TWF. Yes, Bray Wyatt has not wrestled in a long time since his last match with Randy Orton a year ago. Jim Ross says, "You're right," Tony Schiavone says, "and how ashamed does Avro Eggman come out here and scathe Bray Wyatt for things he did wrong when we know Avro Eggman did a lot more worse than Bray Wyatt did?" Tony Schiavone said, "Well," Taz says, "I'm going to tell you right now, Avro Eggman, just got thrown right out of the ring. Bray Wyatt did a lot of bad things to a lot of folks over his long years in WWE. Let's not forget that." Oh! Well, right now, Bray Wyatt let's not forget that, Taz says, that Bray Wyatt's not unguilty of any evil doing or wrongdoing. You know? Taz says. Well, Bray Wyatt just threw Avro Eggman out of the ring, Jim Ross says, with some weird hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now the Fight Lord's tracking him out, Tony Schiavone says. Is Dr. Eggman gonna use his highly wisdom here and somehow take down Bray Wyatt with a body slam, Jim Ross says, and a clothesline. Well, Avro Eggman, Jim Ross says, Avro Eggman thinks he's greater than everyone else, but since he's highly wise. But it was God that made him highly wise, so he shouldn't think he's greater than anyone else, Jim Ross says. That's right, Tony Schiavone said. There are many highly wise folks in this world, and some of them know they're not greater than anyone else. But sadly, no one told Avro Eggman that, Tony Schiavone says. Well, when you're highly wise like him, you can think you're greater than anyone else, Taz says. It happened. Avro Eggman taking down Bray Wyatt. Hey, I'm not going to say that I don't think it's right that Eggman thinks he's greater than everybody else because he's highly wise. But I'm going to say that Bray Wyatt had no room to escape him because Bray Wyatt is guilty of wrong things too. We're all sinners, Taz says. 1, 2, and a kick out. Well, that's right, Jim Ross said. We're all guilty of things we said that were not right, things we said that were wrong. We're all guilty of some sins. We're all sinners of something. You know? But that doesn't trump what Bray Wyatt, what he did in his first run in WWE, doesn't trump what Avro Eggman does. Oh, Jim Ross says. And a hit by the back, and down he went, Jim Ross said. That's right, Tony Schiavone said. Avro Eggman's evil, Bray Wyatt's evil did not trump Avro Eggman's evil deeds. Avro Eggman thinks he's got everything on a running lead, Jim Ross says. He thinks he does, Tony Schiavone said. Sister Abigail. Tony Schiavone says. Well, Jim Ross said he just did a Sister Abigail. Now he's going to get the 1, 2, 3. Oh no, Taz says. You can't let him beat you. No. 1, 2, 3. Ding, 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 ding. Here is your winner. Here is your winner, Bray Wyatt. And now, come on, stand. And now Bray Wyatt has beat Avro Eggman here today on Rampage or Ramfru. And Avro Eggman will wish that he never ever got leer to leer with Bray Wyatt, Jim Ross says. Well, you got that right, Tony Schiavone said. Bray Wyatt taught the good healer that you can be highly wise, but doesn't make you greater than any other man or woman, Tony Schiavone says. That's right, Jim Ross says. And here comes Santa Claus now, back again with Bray Wyatt, here on Rampage or Ramfru. This is sickening, Taz says. I get to see Bray Wyatt, who spent most of his run in WWE from 2010 while to 2021 while as a heel, Then he gets fired, comes back to W 1 year later, his 2 Ford run, and now everybody sees some kind of over good doer or something. Taz said it's sickening. And him with Holy Fellow Nicholas, that's sickening too. Well, let me tell you something, Jim Ross says. Bray Wyatt's had a lot of things go wrong in his life. He's admitted that Bray Wyatt has told folks that he's done a lot of wrong in his time. And he's atoning for those wrongs that he did during his first run in WWE, Jim Ross says. That's right, Tony Schiavone said. Bray Wyatt is atoning for those wrongs. And he hopes to make a new start in his 2 Ford run in WWE, Taz. Well, I know one thing. Michael Cole now is going to be talking. Michael Cole now is going to be talking with Avro Eggman. Thank you, Jim Ross. I'm going to be talking with Avro Eggman here. So, being highly wise, you still took a loss to Bray Wyatt here today on Rampage at Ramfru. Yeah, I did, Michael Cole. I took a loss. Yeah, I lost. I lost to Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, you think you're greater than me? You're going to come out and scathe me for all my wrongdoings and my sins that I did? Who do you think you are, Jesus the Healer? You're not. You're only a man that's guilty of the same kind of wrongs that I'm guilty of. And you say that I think I'm greater than everyone else because since I'm highly wise? When did I ever say that? Well, in the Sonic films and the film games and the live drawing shows by Deke and 4Kids, you behave as if you're more greater than everyone else because of your high wisdom. I never said that. They're putting words in my mouth, Michael Cole. You know, the only one that has a right to guess me for my sins is God and Jesus. And I'm going to tell you something. Bray Wyatt, you were great, Bray Wyatt. But now you're not anymore. You want to atone for everything you did wrong during your first run in WWE, hoping your 2 Ford run in WWE will be greater. Well, let me tell you something. I'm not done with you. This isn't a one-off. We're going to meet again, Bray Wyatt, or whatever offshoot of you you're going as now. Either it's the crazy guild leader, team leader, the Firefly Funhouse greeter, or the Fiend. I don't care which offshoots you have, or this sad offshoot of yourself. I feel sorry for myself, Bray Wyatt. Well, whatever offshoot you're going as now, I'm going to make you lose. Well, that was my talk with Avro Eggman. Back to you, Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone. Well, thank you, Jim Ross, thank you, Michael Cole, for talking with Avro Eggman here today on Rampage or Ramfru. And it looks like it is all the time we got here for Rampage or Ramfru. I am Jim Ross for Tony Schiavone and Taz. We hope you like Rampage or Ramfru, and we'll see you tomorrow for Power or Might.